everyone. Welcome back to Heartland Mamas. I'm Murray Burial.
And I'm Heidi Henry, coming to you from our studio at the edge of the Great Red Divide in Marseilles, Illinois.
Be sure to catch our casts anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. We're also on YouTube and proud partner in the Demcast USA Network. Look for Heartland Mamas.
MAMAS.com.
Wherever you get your casts.
Sure, that'll work.
So we have been on our series of Ousting 8. We've been through 3 of those senators so far, of those 8.
Let's recap who we've gone after.
Absolutely. We've gone after Susan Collins.
Of Maine.
We've gone after Joni Ernst.
Of Iowa.
We've gone after Martha McSally.
Of Arizona.
So now we are on to perhaps the greatest nemesis to democracy and the rule of law currently in any portion of the legislature.
The guy that likes to go by the nickname Grim Reaper and likes to go by that name.
His name rhymes with bitch.
It's
Mitch! Mitch McConnell. You're the next contestant on Oust Yo Ass.
Yeah. Ousting 8. Remember, everybody, if we take over just 4 seats in the Senate, the Democrats own the Senate again. We have to hold the House, take 4 seats, but we would like to see us take 8. And there's 8 super vulnerable, almost 9 really vulnerable senators that we really can't flip.
9 now in Montana.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we now have 9. We may have to do it to an Oust 8 plus 1.
Yeah, 8 plus 1. 9.
So we definitely are excited about the prospects.
We'd like to make it the full 20. Is it 22 or 24? I think it's 24 now.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. We'd like to get all of those seats. We'd like to get all of them.
We know that we can't, and it's not realistic, which is why we started the Oust the 8.
Right.
Because the senators that we're talking about are vulnerable poll-wise, fundraising-wise, legislatively. There's changing demographics. So there's multiple reasons on why these senators we chose. Not just that we hate them or that we think that they are
swimming in deep, dark money.
Or going to destroy democracy.
An intentional destruction of democracy.
And while those are our personal opinions, and we do hold them to be true beliefs, that is not how we came to the conclusion to add yet another...
The one up in Montana.
Yes.
But today we really want to focus on Mitch McConnell. And Mitch McConnell is so heinous that we're actually going to do 2 shows on him. Our first one, we're going to give you a little bit of background in why everybody should want Mitch out. And then our next episode, we're going to talk about Mitch and why he's a magnet for dark money, why he invites dark money into the Republican coffers, why he will do nothing to stop at it, why he does nothing, will do nothing to stop controlling and consolidating power and wealth within the Republican Party. And through this, he has gained great personal wealth. So he has a lot at stake here, Marie. It's not just him. It's not just the state of Kentucky. It's his. It's not just the Senate. It is a personal wealth and power gathering. So, and Mitch has been at this. We were doing some work on this, and it took so many notes that I have to go flip through 15 pages. 1984. He's been becoming Darth Sidious ever since 1984. And you know what happened? You remember that book, 1984?
Oh, I do remember that book.
George Orwell.
I do. Yes, yes.
Every time I think of Mitch, I think of Animal Farm.
Right.
Remember the pigs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and if you haven't brushed up on your George Orwell, now is the time. And our special movie recommendation of the week, Contagion. But that's a whole nother show. We already did that show a couple weeks ago.
We haven't talked about how Mitch grew up, have we?
Well, Mitch grew up. He was born in 1942.
And speaking of Contagion, he had
polio when he was 2 years old.
And his family almost went bankrupt.
From the medical cost of trying to save little Mitch the bitch, who I hope was an asshole child, too. So I'm sure he was. Unliked and unloved. You know? So
depends
Mitch,
on where he grew up.
Well, he was in Alabama. Alabama.
He probably fit in just fine. No offense, our Alabama peeps that are not
well, anyway, home of Roy Moore, isn't it? Alabama. So
Lord, let's not go there.
anyway, so Mitch got polio. So where do you think Mitch went to go get free treatment, Marie?
I don't know where.
Well, he went to the FDR Warm Springs Retreat in Georgia.
Okay, so let me just recap.
Yeah.
His family didn't have enough money to pay for his medical care,
That's
but when
correct.
he contracted a highly contagious disease,
Yeah.
so they sent him off to a rehab facility that was state sponsored.
Formed by probably the biggest Democratic socialist that ever lived.
Oh, an FDR,
An FDR.
facility.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why it's such an irony. I can't even stand it. You know?
And the irony goes that much deeper when you look at yesterday, when the federal spending bill for the coronavirus outbreak of 8.3 or
8.3.
I can't
8.3.
remember. $8.3 billion was sitting on the Senate floor.
Yeah.
And Mitch would not bring it until they put a condition in that said we would not regulate the pharmaceutical companies
Could that be?
and their production of the virus.
And
the
what it
cost
costs.
to the consumer.
And the thing
So
is,
this guy's life was frickin' saved
yes, by free medical
by
care.
free medical
When he
care.
was 2 years old.
And he is going to hold off on
Yeah.
bringing a bill when we're facing a pandemic we have never faced in this country before, because
And we're not
the
prepared for.
insurance companies,
Need to make a buck.
if that is not one of the most
Hypocritical.
evil, despicable, human,
Waste of skin, garbage, and air.
I don't know what is. And I don't care if you are religious, if you are a humanist, if you are an atheist. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and this guy is wrong.
Well, remember, he does love to refer to himself as the Grim Reaper. Maybe he's just bringing it to fruition. Maybe he's what do they call it? Manifesting.
You know,
death.
let's continue with his illustrious career, because he is also a big part of the reason why we have the judges that we have,
Well,
why
well,
nothing got passed. So we'll go back and we'll backtrack from
you know-
polio at the age of 2.
Well, and polio left him with a limb issue, so that he was partially paralyzed, and I don't remember which thigh it was in, but it was in a thigh. So long rolls Vietnam, and he goes into a very elite corps at Fort Knox that's never deployed to Vietnam. And you know what they say? It wasn't bone spurs for him, Murray. He had bad eyesight. So he didn't have to go.
He don't wear glasses now,
Yeah, he does.
does he?
Yeah.
Every day? I thought I was just reading.
McConnell, no, he's always got glasses.
Oh, you're right.
But are you telling me that there are no other soldiers in Vietnam with poor eyesight?
I don't know. I don't know what the
But
criteria
well,
was.
he had some connections to get into that lofty little group there at Fort Knox. So that
Really?
not every soldier gets deployed. Not every soldier sees combat, Tulsi Gabbard, and can pretend that they have and know what it's like to be in the armed services.
Kinzinger?
Yeah, Adam Kinzinger.
A lot of them out there.
There are a lot of them, and a lot of them are faux Republicans, or are Republicans with a D after their name. And I am talking about Tulsi Gabbard. We did a we did a whole show on her,
yeah.
and if you go back and
Watch
watch
I'm
it,
sorry, as a side note, this is completely a segue. Today we learned that Elizabeth Warren is dropping out of the presidential race. We'll do an episode on this one day, but we're a little too emotional right now. But I would like to say that Tulsi Gabbard is still in the race.
so your
She
choice
hasn't dropped out. So if you want a woman,
no, not that
No.
one, not that
No.
one.
No.
And here's the thing, Murray. You know, you either have the old white men sausage fest candidates, or you have Tulsi. I'm really not Democrat. Well, neither is Bernie.
oh my God, just don't even.
I know.
Even. I can't. Okay, so we're going to go back to Mitch McConnell here. So
Yeah.
we made a little segue, but if I don't rate this ship, it is going down.
We're not big
Like
fans
we all
of-
are because of the coronavirus and lack of data and preparedness. Let's segue. So, Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell was garnering power as a senator. And the thing is that, there's an old saying about knowing where all the bodies are buried. Okay? And then some people say, well, you only have to know where the important bodies are buried. In Mitch's case, he knows where he personally buried the bodies so that they couldn't come back and get him. I'm not saying he's a murderer, but
I am going to say that is the statement you made, know where all the bodies are buried, and then more importantly, know who the important bodies are buried.
yeah.
But knowing where they're all buried comes in real handy. And Mitch happened to be able to do that very well.
Very well. And the thing with Mitch is that Mitch bought into this this whole process that we saw that started under the Clinton administration, where the Republican lawmakers, the elected politicians, would vote in lockstep. There's a saying about Republicans always falling in line. Well, they're not even just falling in line anymore. They are goose-stepping with one another. They're voting as a parliament. And a parliament means that even though Murray and I might disagree with each other, and Murray is wounded today if you're seeing this video.
Yeah, if you're watching the video, I have a torn rotator cuff.
So
Sorry.
she's like grimacing over here and clutching her shoulder. And I told her I've got to get over it.
Right? And she's right. She's right.
No.
It's okay.
No, I've been like that too when my
I'm just going to cut it off.
Well, when mine act up, sometimes I feel like I need the old samurai sword to the shoulder. Oh, ow. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you hurt. But so what Mitch did is he corralled that ideology of voting as a parliament. And what I was starting to say is Murray and I could have separate opinions on anything, but because we would be of the same party, it would require us, per Mitch McConnell, that we vote together, that we don't vote against one another, so that our votes don't negate each other. And we would have to vote Mitch's line, which is a parliamentary line, which means your entire group votes together. That's why you see these huge numbers for the other senators that we've covered, where they're not just 80% in agreement with Trump. They're the
like
mid to high 90s.
Right.
It's like vote for vote for vote.
And once upon a time, there definitely was more independent freedom.
Right.
I remember back in the days where representatives, even across the country, represented their district first.
Right.
And not their party first.
Not their dark money interest, because we didn't have dark money.
But their constituency interest.
Right.
I mean, there was always money, and
There's
they
always
always
money,
favored
yeah.
it. Let's not sugarcoat that shit.
No.
But
sorry.
yeah, it was always there.
The reason they
Just
call
as
them lobbyists because they're waiting in the lobby with a little gift for you.
You are not incorrect.
Mm-hmm. So, but the thing with Mitch's demands on them is that those demands come with more power, and
Because
more money.
then, yep,
Because he controls the dark money. He
controls the PACs. He controls what senators get what money.
Exactly. So we live along the Illinois River, and we have something called locks and dams, and the lock master controls the flow of the water. Mitch is the lock master for dark money in the Republican Party. Not Trump, he determines who gets what and how much. And then he can also shut it off. And there's been times where it's been said that so-and-so is not supported by the president. No. It's not supported by Mitch McConnell. He defers to the president in that instance, but it's really Mitch McConnell. You can't piss him off. And where he controls things, and why it's so important for us to get rid of him, is because he's also controlling all of the judges that are going into our federal court system. And why that is bad is when you elect Federalist Societies, and please go back and watch our Federalist or listen to our Federalist Society podcast, because we really went deep into that. The Federalist Society is a very pro-business, pro-wealthy, pro-politician,
Pro-perversion of the Constitution?
Yeah.
That claim to be constitutionalists.
They're not constitutionalists. They've learned to subvert the Constitution for the collection of money and power.
And that
organization
America has had influence in every aspect of the judicial system since 1973.
Yes.
So we're not going to recap it, so we need to understand.
The Society has picked the last 142 federal judges from the Supreme Court on down through Mitch McConnell under the current president.
Now, wait a second, Heidi.
Mm-hmm.
Not just under Trump, but can we backtrack a few years?
Are you talking about Obama?
Perhaps.
Well, the thing with all the federal judgeships that came open under Obama is Mitch McConnell refused to allow his nominations to come to the floor of the Senate to be debated, to be interviewed to be considered as judges. He blocked every single one of them to allow a pool of empty judgeships to come into the next presidency, which is the Trump administration. We're at 142 and counting.
Merrick
Garland was
Garland.
proud. Now, if you don't know who Merrick Garland is, Merrick Garland, we had a terror attack here in Oklahoma City at the Murrah Federal Building a couple of decades ago. Many people died. And it was before 9/11, the worst. No, it was more than 20 years. It's probably 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I forgot how long ago it was.
Timothy McVeigh.
Yep, and he had a partner. I can't think of his Terry, somebody or another. Anyway, so what happened is Merrick Garland was the judge that presided over those cases, and he did a great job. These people were obviously guilty, and yet he ran a clean, thorough proceeding and a clean, thorough court case for them. And
because of that, he was highly regarded as one of the most fair and balanced jurists.
A legal scholar.
Yeah, a legal scholar, fair jurist.
Would have made, not necessarily a lefty, but a good,
solid sensible
judge.
I don't even need a left-leaning judge.
No,
I just need one
solid one.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah, and the thing is you don't want to stack it with either right or left. You want to stack it with, I hate
Central.
to say centrist.
It's true, because they have an easier time seeing both sides.
Right. You're going to hear cases from both sides, and you kind of need somebody who's in the middle who can think through the legalities to bring you an answer that's cohesive to the country, right? That goes with our Constitution and the rule of law and hands down their decisions, right? So what happened with that is that Mitch McConnell blocked Merrick Garland, probably one of the finest legal minds of our lifetime.
Out of power, spite, a grand design to stack the courts the way he wanted them, figuring if history repeats itself.
Yeah.
8 years of any one party, it always flips.
Right.
That was a calculated, conscious decision on his part to get the conservative courts, which would rule for his conservative dark money donors.
Right, because this isn't about anything but personal wealth, but she's become very, very wealthy as a senator.
And power.
But also the wealth and power of the Republican Party, and most importantly, the court system. So you have to see how dark this is for a lot of things. Environmental issues are greatly impacted by this. We see case after case coming to the Supreme Court, coming to the appellate courts, coming to the different court systems, going in favor of corporations and of dumping, of mining in sacred lands. I mean, these are things we can't undo. And
ooh, the story!
Which story?
If you have any doubt of the true level of absolute evil that this man is, and the power he controls, and the way that he has destroyed the EPA, a friend of mine is moving to Kentucky. His company has relocated from Illinois to Kentucky. Yeah. And he was down meeting the folks of the town and leaders and finalizing the details.
That story. I was wondering where you were going with that.
Okay. So there's a judge in Kentucky who is basically the entire
Judge Roy Bean
Republican Party of Kentucky, probably the most powerful Republican in Kentucky beside Mitch. Mm-hmm. And as they came in, they were talking about opening dates and what they were going to do. And he said, well, you just keep me posted. Yeah. If you have any problem with the EPA, we'll call Uncle Mitch and it'll go away. That is the type of mercenary capitalism that Mitch McConnell worships at that altar.
And, Maria, I often talk about my dad, who was a pioneer in pollution control.
Yeah.
And in water and air primarily. And he would always tell you, if you don't do it right at the beginning, you will spend a fortune trying to correct it, and you will never get it back to where it's supposed to be, where God intended, as he would put it. And the problem with that is that, my dad used to talk about how the burden would be put on the taxpayers, because what happens is these companies dump their coal ash or whatever they're going to do, and then they bankrupt. They're absorbed by another company, and then there's nobody to sue. They do this all the time. And that's when we talk as Democrats about environmental justice, this is one of the problems. We're going through an EPA Superfund cleanup in Ottawa, Illinois right now that dates back to the previous century. I mean, way back.
Absolutely.
To the radium dial factors.
Yes. We still have a Superfund site sitting there waiting for. We can't have anything on there.
They're working on it right now.
They are.
Yeah, Superfund site.
That's
And you know who's paying for the
exciting.
Superfund site to be cleaned up? All of us. Not the company, not Radium Dial.
No.
All of us.
But, we got to make sure that we take protections, or regulations are bad. Because if we regulate and say if you screw up, you will have to pay a fee. Mm-hmm. If we say don't screw up, we know this is bad. If we do that or make companies invest in being safer and healthier, well, of course that's going to affect the bottom line.
If it affects the
bottom line, then that affects the profit of the board and the company and the stock market.
Right.
And so instead of making them do what is right and paying their fair share, Louise said, okay, well, when you go horribly wrong, you've made all this money, so
We're
now
just gonna
we'll
let you
make
go.
the citizens
pay for it.
How is that sane
And it's not
in any way?
It would be Trump out there throwing paper towels at people in Puerto Rico. I mean, that's the kind of mentality Mitch McConnell has, is just let the people clean it up. So he's accumulated all this wealth and power and all these judgeships for his orange overlord. But it's really McConnell that's pulling the parliamentary cards, that's causing people to march in line, to vote in line. Right now, the House in the last 2 years of this current session has passed over 400 bills, 80% of which are sitting there in a pile outside the Senate door gathering dust because he won't address prescription drug issues. He did address an insulin bill that was put out by Lauren Underwood from the 14th here in Illinois.
He has brought like 3 pieces of legislation to the Senate floor since impeachment.
Yeah.
Which, that's great, but he's sitting on 400 bills?
Yes. There's things like campaign finance reform, EPA regulations, FEC guidelines, all kinds of things that he refuses to bring out because you know what they'll do? They'll eat away at his consolidation of power and his wealth. So he's never going to let them out. He will not make any moves on those issues.
He's the Grim Reaper.
He is, until after the election.
So he really ticked a lot of people off.
Yeah.
About a year and a half ago. He pushed into modern hatred. Most people understood that he was a bad dude, but it really gained strong power and resurgence with the Gorsuch and Kavanaugh.
Oh my God!
And since Trump took office, his popularity has dropped considerably.
Yeah.
So bad that after the
37%.
Kavanaugh approval,
he helped bring about the big change in 2018. Mitch was pushing the blue wave in 2018.
Mitch was definitely
Him
helping
and Brett
it.
Kavanaugh were pushing the wave.
Once Brett Kavanaugh was...
They were making waves, all right.
Was confirmed, a PAC was formed to ditch Mitch.
Right.
It's a PAC that anyone can donate to, and whoever the winner of the Democratic primary is in Kentucky gets all that money. And
Looks like
within
it's gonna be Amy
24
McGrath.
hours, they had raised $2.4 million.
Well, I threw in $25 right as soon as I heard about it.
And we do think it's going to be Amy McGrath. So there's so many reasons why he's vulnerable, but I just have to say the last 3 polls.
Yeah.
Now, Mitch has... There has been a 20% increase in voter registration in Kentucky. So you've got all these people, the demographics are changing. We talk about the Cincinnati rally we went to and how it wasn't very Trumpian and how it felt very weird to us.
It was very much importing people to support Trump at that rally
and
from all over the country.
Even that weren't there, it was just this calmness. So we know, and they flipped it blue. So all those things factor in, not to mention his horrible record and how much everybody hates him.
Yeah.
So the best part about this is, he is, there's a 24-point spread on him. He has a 30% favorability rating.
Oh, is he down to 30?
That's what Fox News reports as of January 22nd.
Well,
Fox News reports he has a 30, and Harvard Harris poll of January of January 29th had him at 26%.
He's a horrible person.
But best is The Economist just did a poll that ran from March 1st to March 3rd, which is just a couple days ago?
Yeah.
His rating is gone up to
Yeah.
36%.
Well,
It's
okay.
still an 18% spread, though.
So
18-point spread.
Last year, every year in Kentucky, they have something called the Fancy Farm Picnic in Fancy Farm, Kentucky. And it's the first Saturday in August, and it has been this way. And they have a lot of homemade food, a lot of county fairs type stuff.
I don't think they'll be having that this year.
No, they had
Coronavirus.
Oh, no, they will, because they'll just swill some cow urine.
Well,
or
Trump's
whatever.
still having rallies.
You know.
And
Yeah, that's okay. They can all get sick. Anyway, can my brother go? My younger brother. Anyway, they have this fancy farm thing, and it's a big picnic. And last year when it was going on, remember, we did a whole show on these coal miners that were blocking the railroad tracks that were on strike, whose company, one of these companies that has given Mitch a ton of money over the years.
And has had protections for their industry and protections for their workers repealed.
Bankrupted, but became part of another company. So they didn't have to pay their workers. And the workers were like, there's $1 million of coal sitting here in coal cars. We're sitting on the tracks. They can't get them out. And they sat there for months until they got their money. So they were very smart. But this is going on down the road from Fancy Farm. Guess who about got booed off the stage? Mitch McConnell.
So his popularity and
Wait.
there's actually go ahead. Sorry, honey.
Fancy Farm is open to the public, so you can go first Saturday in August if you want to go and either support Mitch or support Amy McGrath, who's going to be running against him.
That's exactly where
Because
I was going with
all
this.
politicians are welcome at Fancy Farm. We might even go. Oh, we should.
Listen, I am probably
Kentucky. It's so
going to
beautiful.
isolate in a bunker after this primary until the coronavirus crap actually shakes out. Let's not go there. I'll go all batty on that.
I know. I'm not.
That's a rabbit hole I can go down.
I am concerned about the coronavirus, but I won't probably change anything.
But
unless
you
I-
live in a more rural area as
do.
well. So if you could contract it.
Yeah.
But statistically, the less people you come into contact with, the less likely you are to contract it until it goes farther down the contagion.
Marie, I'm in a nursing
Scale.
home every day, spending time with my dad. That's where sick people are.
Oh.
Every day.
We have to interrupt this podcast video
hands.
because Heidi has been around sick people, and I know the coronavirus is going to get us all.
Mostly they're just old, dying people, and it's a very sad.
Old dead
With,
people.
well, no, they're not dead yet. My father is dying.
Sorry.
I know. My father is 97, almost 98, and he is dying. His body is just shutting down on him. And he went in after he had shingles to get better. And it didn't work this time. He usually bounces right back, but he's never going to bounce back from this. And he's having last rites twice now. And then he bounces back.
Why does he need them twice?
Well,
Like, after you get them once, doesn't that kind of cover you?
my parents raised me as an Episcopalian. Not everybody in my family is
I'm
Episcopalian.
so confused.
So I
So you had last rites in Episcopalian, and your sisters and brothers wanted last rites in something else?
and Roman Catholic. So, and it's okay. It's okay. I don't think you can have
Well,
too
he's
many
double.
last rites.
He is covered.
He is a very blessed man.
Yeah,
But my,
you
my
know?
father has
In
a
case
man of-
God's Episcopalian and not Catholic.
I don't think God's denominational.
I don't think so either.
I
but,
don't.
you
I
know,
don't even think God adheres to a certain religion.
Because
Episcopalians will tell you that-
he would smite Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Smite Mitch McConnell. Where is the God of the Bible?
My-
Don't send me a motherfucking plague and locusts and disease if you're not gonna smite those assholes that need to go. All right, if I'm an asshole, smite me. Yay! Leave the innocent. I'm not leaving myself out here. I'm just saying.
That's not
Come
how
on,
it works.
God.
It's not how any of that works.
Well, it should.
It's not how any of it
See,
works.
I don't believe in religion.
Well, if the thing is that you can't confuse religion with, hang on, I gotta get it, being an omnipotent wizard. I still have the magic wand.
I'm not going to tell you what it looks like.
Sorry. We don't know where the wand came from, but we found it.
You tell me what that looks like.
It's a Harry Potter wand. It's from...
Hold it upside down, people. If you
Don't
could
hold
see.
it down.
This is not a Harry Potter wand.
It is a Harry Potter wand. So I actually do know who made it. And
We
pull
got way
off track here. But here, and if you're listening to this, we actually have a wand that was carved Harry Potter style that for some reason got into our podcast studio. And usually, wait, you got to hand it back to me because I got to do it now. Healthcare for everyone. Wham!
So it's our magic wand now. But if you take the magic wand and you turn it upside down.
This is where her mind goes, not mine. Her mind goes there. Mine is like, it's a wand.
It's like an elbow.
Oh, okay.
That's, what did you think I was going to say? Well, it's like a shoulder. What did you think I was going to say, Heidi?
I don't know,
She's so,
Marie.
Look at where her mind is. You talk about dirty birds like Mitch McConnell, and you can't help it. Yeah. Every good,
but I don't
decent part of your being sinks into that cesspool level of absolute human excrement that Mitch McConnell
holding that thing like that?
Hands free, hands free. That's it. That is it. Oh my. Okay, folks.
So, anyway.
The train is off the track
completely
into the water and everyone is drowning. We did not make it like the Polar Express across the ice. We are screwed.
Oh, God, I'm crying.
We crack us up. In case you haven't laughed along, you can forward maybe 15 seconds and we'll get back to the meat of it.
Listen, this is how I get We're driving back from Chicago from another podcast, and we hear the story about the pigeons in Las Vegas with little MAGA hats on, and I just lost it. We nearly wrecked the car. I don't know how many times, laughing so hard we were crying because I'm picturing these poor stupid birds with hats on. I have chickens, and I'm just thinking, I think my chickens.
we were going to give them Elizabeth Warren sweaters. The chickens.
And little glasses.
Not the rooster, because there's a cock. We'll just call him Bernie.
Well, he said.
We're funny today.
Oh, God. Stop it.
So speaking of animals, Mitch looks like a turtle. Let's wrap up with Mitch McConnell since we're gone.
I hope at least you laughed a little bit with us today.
Yes. And the best part about this is that there is someone actually running against him. And it isn't like, any functioning toddler versus
hero.
Donald Trump wins by like 2%.
Yeah.
This is an American hero, actually combat veteran, fighter pilot. She is strong and confident and an amazing woman.
Yeah.
And, oh, wait.
What?
Think she can get a sex change before the election?
No, she is.
No. Vagina.
Oh, my God.
The penis fears vagina.
Well, that's why we have...
The wand is afraid of the kitty cats.
The wand has an unusual handle. And I'm winking really hard at that. I never noticed it till today, but Murray had to point it out.
He pointed it out before.
So...
Sorry, Amy McGrath. Amy McGrath for
she's
Kentucky.
Amazing.
You have to check her out. One of the best things
Don't be scared that she's got indoor plumbing.
Yes, a vagina is okay. It won't eat you. It's not like the Venus flytrap. It won't eat you. You're safe around vaginas. Unless you're Mike Pence, and then you may not be safe around vaginas.
I'm not sure he's ever seen one. Does Mother have one?
Immaculate conception. That's all I'm saying with that.
Oh my gosh.
But one of the things we're really excited about when talking about Mitch, so we're going to be bringing you part 2 of Mitch, is Amy McGrath, and we are reaching out to her team. So if anyone watches this video, here's Amy McGrath's team. My friends are moving to Kentucky because of their job, as referenced earlier in the story. Heidi and I will be down in Kentucky, Murray, Kentucky. It's a little university town, helping people get out the vote, making calls. So Mitch is one, and Joni Ernst are 2 that we're really going to work hard for. this season.
That will
thanks to
actually
connections we have in both states.
Yeah, we'll be going out to canvas for both of those candidates, and you're welcome to come along because
we're
it's going to
try
be a
to maybe
blast.
do a Mama's Crew.
I really think we need to go to the fancy farm
No,
picnic.
I'm not going to fancy farm picnic. It's just a cesspool for coronavirus and gay. I'm sure they're afraid of that down there too. No offense, my Kentucky friends.
Well,
I know some of you out there.
You know, but if Mitch McConnell leaves, I won't be able to make any more Kentucky toucher jokes. My son went to Southern Illinois University, and I said, "Be careful, you're almost a Kentucky toucher."
And Kentucky's a really
It's
cool
a beautiful state,
and they've got amazing people.
Yeah.
And as we sign out, I do want to point out, if you listen to any of the legislative men who come from the South,
no, who come from anywhere that's Republican.
there is an accent. You can have
It's a fake Southern drawl.
a Democratic, born and bred boy senator, and he will not talk like this. And if that isn't pandering, what is? But the accents in
Really?
Kentucky are really cute.
Well,
Not dogging on your accents. I think they're kind of cool.
well, and I have to say,
Mitch McConnell, what I'm saying, I'm not doing anything.
he's just a horrible human being.
Can't.
Yeah.
So support Amy McGrath. We're gonna do more on her. We're gonna do specials where we go to Kentucky.
We're gonna connect all the dots on Mitch's dark money and the flow of dark money out of his
in an
office.
upcoming episode.
And how the flow of dark money just before the impeachment vote, the floodgates opened. And we're going to explain it to you how. We're going to show you how that flooded into the 22 very vulnerable senators.
Did that have anything to do? Oh, there's
With the
so
no
much.
vote?
We're not. Oh, lordy, we got to goes there. But
We
what
are
we're
going
gonna
there.
do- Yeah,
we are going there.
Mhm.
I have pages and
So do
pages
I.
of
It's
notes.
just
Wait,
it's
let me get it in the
mind-boggling.
camera.
So,
yeah.
As we take out, we want to let you know, Mitch the bitch. Oh, I'm sorry, Mitch.
No, you said
the
that already
Cinch-
today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and we have a
Needs to
special
go.
Mitch the Bitch rap we're going to do.
Yeah, we haven't quite figured it out, but
Well, it'll
you
be a
should
song.
see these two middle-aged white ladies rapping. It's probably going to be funnier than what you saw toward the end of this video
I couldn't say it was
or
a rap.
podcast.
It's the spoken word with music.
Slam.
Oh, it's a poetry slam. Let's do a Mitch McConnell poetry slam. That would be hilarious.
Oh man, I am down. We'll do our ousting 8. We will do a half-hour poetry slam for each of our all
Murray,
of our ousting 8.
I want people who listen to us to send your poetry to us.
Send us your
Send
poetry.
us a video of you reading it, and we will play it. We will play it. So on any of our 8 characters, oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
So be looking forward to that. But we do want to say, think about Amy McGrath.
Yeah.
Right now, we're all a little, not everyone, but some of us are in mourning over the presidential
A lot
race.
of women are just pretty...
take and turn that towards something positive. Like Amy McGrath, fighting Joni Ernst, battling Susan Collins, and Martha McSally, any of the ones that are awful. But stay safe, stay healthy. Please don't get the coronavirus and
Wash
die.
your hands and don't touch your face.
If I can hear that one more damn time. And you know what? If you die, we have less viewers. So please don't die. We'd like to keep you around.
Don't.
And
Don't
be
die.
safe, be healthy. Look into Amy McGrath. She's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. Amy McGrath for Kentucky. Stay tuned to us. Like, subscribe, and share, because if you don't, you won't know when we're coming to Kentucky. You won't be able to come to Kentucky with us.
Yeah.
And you definitely will miss out on the slam poetry coming up soon.
Okay, so we're going to tune out now. Heartland Mamas, MAMAS.com. Catch us on Dumbcast.
Bye.
Bye.